All right, peace and love, everyone. I hope your week has been going well so far. I hope you're doing good tonight. Tonight I want to get into some information that I think that will put a lot of people's mind at ease. I got different questions and emails, and I figured the only way that I can answer them all at once without doing a class setting would be to do it on this form. So hopefully this will inspire you, encourage you, and put you at ease about what's going on. A lot of people are concerned of what's going to happen according to all of these things happening planetarily, and should they be nervous and things like that. Well, we're going to discuss a lot of those things. So don't fear with none of that. We're going to get started shortly. Peace and love, Shira, Natalie, Washington Man, Sandy Burwell, Angela Johnson, Kia Wamuri. Good to see you all. Uh, so again, I'm going to touch on a few things that I think will help you going forward. A lot of people ask me why no, you seem like you unbothered, but just so at ease with what's going to happen. And that's because I am. You only can control what you can control, and certain things that I've learned and gained insight through discovery learning that I want to share with you all so you can get the same piece um, and know that you only can control what you can control. And so I want to get into a few things today. Let me see. I can. So I know you all been hearing about people call me, L and the nobles, and people been asking me what does it mean. I want to show you something real quick. Let me see if I can show you if it'll let me do it. So let's see real quick. All right, can you all see that? That's EL. Okay, and this is you might see this these signs of EL, and EL means strength. It means power, force, what they call quote unquote God. Um, and so these are different examples. Okay, seeing EL in different places. I've been seeing them frequently, and it's basically what I've been getting as a sign, a spirit sign or message, is to tap more into that strength or power that we have. And so I just wanted to share a few of these with you all. I've been seeing them different places, different times, and not just on what you would call conveyance plates, license plate. I've been seeing them in movie shows, everywhere, different settings. So these are just to show you a few, the ill. And one thing we can say, I know people like to blame Mercury retrograde, but we're not retrograde anymore. So I guess it's working now. But you see, the attention is on L, and this is who we are. This is ancient. Okay. This is something that we're going to discuss. All right. So let's get back into uh, some of the topics. It's a lot of things, but let's get started. So I want to talk about L. I know you see the thumbnail. You got what you would call Superman, Superwoman, and things like that. L um, is again means strength, power, lawmaker, all of these different things. It also has a spiritual denotation behind it. And when you look at Superman, his appellation, his title or attribute was Kal El, and he come from a line of L's. Um, and when you see that actual crest or what they call coat of arms, it's actually not a S. It is the coat of arms for the House of El. Okay, and that's us. And describes a similar story about us, the going back to an ancient time. Now they put it all in your face. They hide it, and of course, um, they illustrate it back to you through movie shows, songs, things like that. Peace and love, everybody who just joined. So I want to highlight some of those things. Um, and when you're looking at L, we got to look at the science that we brought, and that's what we want to talk about. So the fact that you and I on this planet, um, or anyone, humans on this planet, that shows that we have different levels and degrees of what we came to work on. So the fact that there's a sun, it shows that there's progress that needs to be made. Okay, and everything that's under the sun and ruled by the sun has to evolve, and that's the whole purpose. So once you have evolved to a higher plane, this is where you no longer need the sun, and you become the children of the sun, or the um, daughters and sons of the light, and you are the bringer of the light. And so when you look at metaphysics or expanded consciousness, there are 7 universes, and each of these universes are divided by 144. And that number comes into play because each section of that 144 is divided into, or subdivided into galaxies. And each galaxy is divided into 144 million constellations. And each constellation is divided into 12 solar systems. And when you look at the solar systems, they can be broken down by the 12 planets. Okay, so that's how those numbers are significant. Now, some people will say that that's the 144,000 that's in the Bible, or the 144,000 that will be saved, or the 144,000 people on this earth that will be saved from the mayhem. But when you think of the vast number of divisions of this 144,000, it will be very narrow-minded and limited to just restrict that number to people of earth, when a lot of people can't stand earth. They want to leave and ascend and get away from earth, and they think they can sleep their way to the next plane or meditate to another level. But to say that it's only going to be 144,000 that survive of this earth, that's kind of, when you look up all of the vast living or life in this universe, that's kind of narrow-minded. So when we look at the originators of the 144,000 concept, that is the Mayans, okay, or the Mayans, okay, and the original Mayans, okay, were what they called the Olmec. The Olmec was the rubber people, the corn people, the Z people, okay, and the original plan for the 144,000 was to basically track a linear progression of time, and it's basically dealing with astronomy. So a lot of the structures in South America, Central America, are built on this concept. And so the Mayans are the Olmecs, and the Olmecs are you, okay? And the Mayans domicile in North, Central, and South America, and it's called America today, but it's actually called Tamari. It has many different titles and attributes that we gave it. Tamari, Land of the Beautiful, Amexum, Turtle Island, as some call it. So it has many different names. And so the Olmecs were some of the original people of the earth. Now, the people before them were the elves, okay? That's you and I. And the United Nations have also verified and said that we are some of we're the oldest people on the earth today. Now, there's 250 different prefixes when you look in a dictionary with the prefix L, okay? And again, this is what you're seeing when you look at L, how it's so connected to language, and we'll talk more about that soon. But the L's, remember, we were the light bringers and the light benders. And so we prepared and created life on this planet through the intelligence that we got from the 4 corners of the cosmos. Okay, so we prepared the way for intelligence to manifest and prosper on this plane. And so some of you might ask, well, what happened to us? How did we fall so low, and how did we get to this place? That's because we got caught up in Theyre's, or I should say Earth's electromagnetic field. And this is where the polarities begin to reverse, and that froze our abilities, it froze our energies, our gifts, talents, and that's where we begin to vibrate slower on this planet. And a reflection of that is what you see today, how people act. And this is what caused us to manifest in the flesh on this physical plane. So we were first mental beings, okay, or what you call light beings vibrating at a higher frequency. And now that's not the case, okay? We're trying to ascend back there. So um, we were what is now referred to as evil. We were considered the light beings, which is really what they call Lucifer and the Luciferians, and they are only Lucifer means the shining one, the light star, the bright and morning star, the bringers of the light, the wielders of light. Okay, so we wielded the light and brought it down to this plane. So essentially, we were the elves, we were the magi's, the magus, the ones who brought the advancement to society. So we brought light from the cosmos onto this plane, and a symbol that is commonly used, it has many different meanings, is the cross. That symbolizes what we did. That cross has the four corners, which denotes the four directions of which we brought the knowledge from different constellations, from different parts of the galaxy, from different parts of the cosmos. Um, we brought all of this universal intelligence in to manifest on this plane. And when you draw a circle, so if you have a cross and you draw a circle um, in the center of that cross, and then you form an L, you make four L's. This is where you get your cross in the center of that circle. They call it the mundane cross. And this forms, again, this is symbolic of your four directions. And this L, okay, EL, sometimes it's EL or it's L short. This forms that 90 degrees, okay? And the 90 degrees we know as more, it represents 90-degree square, okay? And these squares create conflict. These squares are needed because they create the friction, okay, for intelligence, and conflict is needed for growth. Friction is needed for the intelligence to evolve, and that's what helps life to grow. And so only those things that are worthy and meant to grow will do so. So it's just like, you ever heard that saying, if it's worth having, it's worth fighting for. That's what this whole square creating friction is about. So if you were to observe an egg of a bird and someone came by and cracked that shell, this would prevent that whatever that's in that egg, that bird, from actually being able to grow. Okay, you would stifle the growth and prevent the necessary friction it needed to evolve. So conflict help us to grow. Okay, and it helps us to evolve. It shapes us, and it makes us more of who we are, and it also makes it more of what we are supposed to be. So when that bird cracks the shell on its own, it proves its worth, and that's kind of like what we're going through now with these wars. There are certain beings that's watching what's going on this planet, and they're not, certain of them are not interfering because they want to see us grow and evolve. Um, and in a sense, it displays self mastery. So to become a light bender again, this is something that we have to go through. So that bird, essentially, once it cracked the shell, it has to master its own evolution, and then it becomes a master of the 90 degrees. And so it rises perpendicular, okay? And that's the whole thing about standing on your square. You hear that a lot in the movement, stand on your own square. But we get so caught up in standing on a square where we forget that we're a part of a whole board, and we need everyone to stand on their own square for us to play this game. Now, all of the information and wisdom, knowledge, intelligence was brought in from the cosmos and bent into the form of an L. Okay, so L, and again, is symbolic. That's a symbol that we use to measure the sun's movement, but it's also a symbol that we use to preserve the knowledge that was given to us by the elders. Okay, so we have elders that tell us this information, they give us the knowledge, they give us the wisdom from the cosmos, and we have a tradition of passing it down through storytelling. And so that really hasn't that process hasn't died out on the planet Earth. It still takes place to this day. And again, this is how we preserve this information and knowledge. So when you also look at certain patterns in different nations' flag, this is traces of, again, the L's. When you see that cross, like for example, the British flag has that cross, and it has the L in it, and it's showing you how we brought enlightenment to them. Okay, so now the goal while we're on this plane, at least this time around, is to get as much light codes, as much intelligence, information, wisdom, and knowledge downloaded into your system so you can become a master, and then make a right turn, which is a L, okay, 90 degrees around the circle, okay, and then you're going around the circle 2 times. That's so the circle equals 360 degrees. When you make that right turn, you're going around and you're doing a 720, okay, and that's the degrees of knowledge. Quentinville says, look at countries with L in it, too, like El Salvador, for example. Exactly. Many ancient monument structures, cities, towns have L in it. We were the first people. You see that all over. Now, this also means when we look at this pattern or this motion around the earth, or around, I should say, around this knowledge that's brought into the earth, this also means that we brought the concept of time travel. Okay, and so, well, at least linear time travel. Okay, so we know time is an illusion that is used to control the masses. We use that illusion of time to uh, guide the collective consciousness of the people into a certain path based off the inclination of the earth. So we had them inclined to a certain path. We used this time piece as an illusion to get people there, because we know a lot of people wouldn't do it on their own, just like now. So we use time as a tool to get people on a certain path. Now, this time, well, at least now, this time around, time is being used to stagnate and uh, really stifle consciousness and keep people in a time loop in the matrix. So when it comes to cyclical time or circular time, this is where the language of the sun is activated. This is where language comes into play to aid us in the process of evolving through time, okay, on that progression. Like Green says, also the angels like Michael, Uriel, and so on. Exactly. Jewel, right. And on this process, dealing with this process, Earth has a certain frequency that vibrates at a certain rate. And when you tap in, that's when you tap into those light codes of the Earth or that frequency. So we use the alpha beta or the alphabet to actually help elevate the universal mind and bring the mental plane into the physical plane. Okay, so we were able to do all of this at one point in time, and a lot of you might be asking, well, how is it that a lot of our people, in fact, I got this question a lot, how is it that a lot of us can't even tap into this information or affect anything? And that's because humanity has fallen so low um, that we don't remember. A lot of this stuff, you already know it. I'm just reminding you of it. It's already in your DNA. And sometimes this information skips generations, and it's people like us that help come remind you of what you and your ancestors already knew. So, and other people ask us, you know, if we were the bringers of light, um, you know, why did we allow darkness to, overcome everybody on earth? Well, we'll talk about that as well. But one thing you got to understand is the traveling or the speed of light. Okay. Now, as the bringers of light, you definitely need to know about the different um, concepts around bringing light. So we are told that light travels at a certain speed, and it's so fast and everything like that. But my question is to all of you: what travels faster than the speed of light? And we touched on this before, but just for sake of people who may be new, what travels faster than the speed of light? And this will bring some clarity as well. You can put it in the chat if you know. Kelly Vet says darkness. Yep, darkness. Remember, when you bring in the concept of light, what's already there? Darkness. Darkness is already there. Okay, so when you don't need the light, okay, you're already dark. And of course, the sun is dark. Methico says a black hole. Yep. So the sun is actually dark. And when you look at something else that travels faster than light, does anybody know? There's a few things actually. He said sound. Okay. Yep. What else? What else travels faster than light? He said the void and darkness. Yep. What else travels faster? So already, y'all are already busting up the myth of what they taught us in school. So, the other thing that travels faster than light is thought. Okay, pure thoughts. Um, Pure thoughts manifest quicker than tainted thoughts. So, can you all imagine a time where on this plane we had pure thoughts and we didn't need the society to have this construct to control the collective consciousness? It was way different than what we experience now. So, uh, again, and some of you might be asking, well, where's these first beings' bodies? If the elves was the first ones on this planet, where are their bodies at? And the answer to that is, remember that whatever the planet you're domiciling on, you take on its attributes, you take on its traits. Okay, so you mirror what the planet is. So when the planet was pure energy, we were at a higher frequency. We didn't need the physical shell as a manifestation. We were light beings or mental beings. So we were pure energy back then, and we didn't need the physical shells. So you also got to remember that um, in this planetary system, uh, when we look at the sun, okay, or I should say multiple suns, any planetary system that have a sun or multiple suns is an indicator that the beings need to evolve or the beings are devolving, as we should say. So um, the inhabitants of Earth, okay, they are, or I should say, the elves were able to bend the radiation from the sun, and we used those light codes for survival, okay, at a higher degree. But now we use things like 5G to communicate, and we use those towers to use that radiation from the sun and bend it. Now, of course, that radiation is destroying our physical shell, and on different levels the mental shell, but we use this 5G, and the G is short for energy, and this energy comes directly from the sun. Now, the sun is a chakra itself, and when you look at the chakras, they all have divisions. Okay, so I know we all know about the seven chakras, these spinning wheels within the wheel, but there's also said to be 285 chakras, okay, in the body. So according to the elders on Earth, as well as other planets, there are certain densities that was established and set up to sustain these energies, okay? And these densities are what you call the planets, okay? And they rotate in a certain pattern. So these densities or planets, they rotate. So if you could picture a chain on my neck, a circle chain on my neck, and at the top will be the sun, and then you have the planets going in a clockwise direction around, right, to complete the circle. Now, the sun is spinning in a certain direction, clockwise, okay, and the next planet that it interloops with, okay, which will be the moon, is spinning counterclockwise. So you have this pattern going throughout, okay, the planets. And it takes 312,000 years to go through all of them. Okay. Now, they form a intertwined circle and they spin clockwise and counterclockwise. And so each of them hold the clockwise a positive charge and the counterclockwise a negative charge. So as man evolved throughout the ages, this is where the densities begin to change. Now, they change, for example, from causal to mental to physical, and then they will go back up again to from physical to mental to causal, okay, as far as the energy that they give off. And this is all based off of the collective consciousness of humanity. So when our people are going in a certain direction together, this is where we're able to affect things. Okay, now we don't need every single person to be on the same wavelength, we just need a few. So, also the dimensions, they overlap. Okay, so just like the planets will overlap on a chain, it's the same thing. The dimensions, they overlap and they each contain different frequencies. Um, of the next plane that you're about to experience. So, for example, when these frequencies overlap, we call that an arc. I wish I can draw it on the screen, but we call it an arc. And so, this arc contains the experience that people are about to go through. So, the sun, this is all based on the sun. This is all based off of the many suns in the solar language. And so the sun is dictating the growth on many planes, including the one in this solar system and many other solar systems. So now we just left the third density, as the elders say, and we moved into the fourth density, which is from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. And right now we're experiencing that arc, that the information that we're supposed to come into. This is the era that we're in now, the age of information. So in the Piscean era, we were supposed to grow, and we were supposed to basically that what's that song? Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. That stream was supposed to be of knowledge. And merrily, 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 life is but a dream. But we got sidetracked, and that's when the delusions kicked in, because Piscean age or the Piscean gate deals with the two fish cross, one going in one direction, the other going in another direction. So this is where you have truth and falsehood strangely mixed. And so this was also the age of the dogma industry. Okay, they were strong, they had many followers in the Piscean age, and now we're supposed to ascend to the next plane where we learn about the forces that will control this physical plane. Now, Pisces is the age where we're supposed to learn about quote unquote God or the creator. And Aquarius is the age where you're supposed to become God or the creator, quote unquote. And so people might ask, and I get this a lot, why so many of our people are asleep? Or why are so many of our people not woke? Or why don't our people get it? And that's because you gotta remember this arc. This arc is the overlay of the dimensions. So in the Piscean era and Aquarian era, there's an arc, and that arc gives you the experiences you're supposed to get, the knowledge, the information of the next age. And a lot of our people, you have this arc over top of that age, and you have the sleep, the woke, and everything in between in that arc. So this is what you're experiencing. And under the Piscean age, the fish would swim and acquire all the knowledge they were supposed to of the sea. And remember, when you remove the water, there's land. So they were supposed to receive all of the information. All of us were supposed to receive all of the knowledge that we were supposed to, and learn how to navigate the sea. Okay, the sea, the hidden realm, the mystic realm. And when it, if you look at a fish, when it's time to leap, okay, or ascend, it leaps out of the water. And you can look at dolphins; they do this when they swim and they'll leap outside of the water. And this is how our people were supposed to be in the Piscean age. You're supposed to get all the knowledge you can from that age, and then once you've mastered everything in that era, you only then want to continue to go up. And so our people, well, you look at the fish example, they would want to go from the water to the air. They wanted to move into the next age. Piscean age is about water, Aquarian age is about air. Water is all about your emotions, and the air is all about your intellect or intelligence or knowledge. And so um, this is literally, we're in this now, so supposed to be ascending from Pisces um, to Aquarius. So meaning from water to air, or from emotions to intelligence and information. A lot of our people are having a tough time with this because they're emotionally attached to the things that they have acquired in the Piscean age. And when it comes to the Aquarian age, you're supposed to let go of those emotions and to, well, learn how to balance those emotions as you receive new information and get the facts of the matter. Um, the beings and entities of this earth controlled us through the emotions in the Piscean age, but now it's time for us to shed those things that we have emotional attachments to learn more information. But there's a barrier because of that art. Now, as we go through this art, we got to shed just like serpents have to shed. Okay. Um, and serpents shed in order to grow. Okay. And that's the whole process. So a lot of people ask, a lot of people might ask me, from the classes and emails, why is it so many people who are evil or refuse to wake up? Some of y'all been calling them Uncle Sam, Uncle Tom, all these different type of things. That's a whole nother class, but um, again, it's going back to the planetary movement. Some of these people are moving clockwise, like the planets. Some of them are moving counterclockwise. So the clockwise, again, is the positive charge. The counterclockwise is the negative charge. And so this is the universal law to balance things out. So some people are clockwise people, some of them are counterclockwise. So, and how do we change all of this? We got to change it through the vibration. So when you vibrate at a certain frequency and rotate in a certain direction, you're going to create that manifestation. And that's a guarantee. So the ills, we left all of this information, all of this knowledge into ancient symbols all over the planet, in different crystal cities that we once had. And the ancient symbol, okay, that wraps all of this up. Well, I don't say wrap it all up, but it kind of embodies all of this, is the serpent. The serpent represents the spiral. Okay, again, we're dealing with time, timekeepers, and controllers. And the spiral represents the four coils that man descend or ascend to reach new stages in their evolutionary growth, or I should say, if they devolve too. So the ills, we taught atomic energy, we taught about atomic structures, we taught about life and how they must evolve. And because of ignorance, the ancient foes that we're dealing with and their different henchmen, they translated or mistranslated this. Well, I say they translated on purpose this atomic energy and structure knowledge to mean Adam and Eve, or atom, ATOM, versus the ADAM. So the atom is supposed to evolve. You have atoms in your body. The book is really about your physical, your body, okay, the intelligence of the body. And so they changed this, and that's where this great battle of the different minds on this plane is played out. So the physical mind versus the mental mind is being played out, and you're about to see a big impact really soon. Um, and this is where they get the whole scripture: the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in his wings. And this is because the sun is supposed to balance the overlays or these arcs of consciousness that the collective is dealing with. So I also got this question. I'm gonna read it all. Some of you say, where did the Albions come from if we were the only ones here? To answer that, they came from the Orion system in the Pleiades constellation, and they call that the Great Stake Milky Way um, in the galaxy. And their specific planet that they came from is called Tyrantor. Okay, and this is where they get the word tyrant from. This is where the word tyre comes from, and words like tyranny or tyrannical, uh, or even the Norse god. He had, the Norse, they had a god who was called Tyre. So when you're talking about Tyre, tyrant, tyrannical, tyrantor, you're talking about the Albions. Okay, you might call them Europeans, modern day Europeans, and that's where they're saying they come from. From this planet in this constellation. And at Tyrantor, the ancestors of the Albions were more advanced than the sister planets in their solar system. And this is where they begin to get worshipped as the great tyrants. Okay. And that's where they brought that mess down here to this constellation. And then they brought that into our solar system on our planet. And now it's a whole thing about climbing to the top, being worshipped. We'll talk more about that. But they had a special council that was supposed to um, keep the records. They was responsible for keeping all of the records, and they was responsible for this great project, and it was to um, create a giant computer. Okay, and this giant computer was actually the planet that they made, and this planet, um, it was huge. Okay, it was a guider of the 24 solar systems around their planet. Okay, and eventually it grew to guide 144,000 solar systems. So again, here go that number, 144,000. Now, obviously, with all of the solar systems and the planets within them, uh, they have now conquered. It wasn't enough. Okay, they decided to continue and branch out further, and this was where the scientists, they began to want to be worshipped, and a war broke out. And that war that broke out, this is where they get the whole Star Wars trilogy from. That's what it really is about. And the clockwise people of their solar system were called the Pax, Pax, and the counterclockwise people were called the Saud, or the Devourers. Okay, and this war is still going on to this day, right now, and it's going on in Orion. Okay, Hollywood, they shared this story with us through the movie Beetlejuice, and I'll leave that movie in a description. But you all go back and watch that with a new mind after discussing this, and go look at Beetlejuice. Um, Beetlejuice is actually a term actually used for Belchagese, and Belchagese is the big sun in the Pleiades uh, constellation. So um, it's right outside of Orion, and so Hollywood put it right in your face of what's really going on. Um, and this is where the little grays come from. You might see or see movies or shows or hear about it, but that's where they come from. So the U.S. corporate owners, they made a treaty with them. Eisenhower in '56, as well as other nations on the earth, they made space treaties with these beings. And now um, when you look at these treaties, one of the things, or some of the things they wanted to exchange was commodities, um, intelligence, and they wanted to do this for an exchange of technology. Now, who do you think was the commodities that they were speaking about, or the intelligence? That would be people that look like you and I. So, who do you think, once they made this exchange, this agreement, they want to go into uh, start to extract different people, and who's the number one target? Those who possess carbon 12, okay, what you call melanin. So a lot of people are being um, extracted and taken out and things like that is because of this treaty, and it's not that they don't know what's going on. They actually okayed it and signed off on it. So this is where you start to look at the mind control that's taking place from these tyrants. Okay, and some of you ask, well, why are people so resistant to this truth? Um, Could it be because they are conditioned from the societal uh, construct that was formed? I think it is. And a lot of the uh, ancient technology and science and wisdom that we bought is now being used to uh, manipulate. Okay. Now, the Space Confederation, um, they call the Galactic Pack or the Pax or the Galactic Peace. They're on our planet right now. And they're in our solar system as well, and they have what they call ventels, okay, and this is basically their craft, okay, and they are in 51 solar systems. And again, remember, these are the clockwise people, and they have about 608 um, different planets that they are dealing with. They have over 3.5 million spacecraft, and they're growing. And so recently, Congress has said that they need to know what's out there. This contact from these other beings could raise national security threats and things like that. But they say that they don't know what's out there and they need to do more research. So they set up these research think tanks. Now, they already know who these people are. They made a treaty with them. So all of this is a lie. They're trying to warm the people up to get them to realize that we're not the only people or beings in this vast universe. Um, is this foolishness. So again, where do they come from? They come from the four different galaxies. Okay. The corporate owners also gave, in exchange for your estate, they gave up uh, your estate, and you includes you, and for uh, again, technology and intelligence. So they want to become more advanced. And when you watch Beetlejuice, you'll see exactly what they've done and why it's important. Contract law is king. Contract is king. You're always going to have to refer to contract law, but that's something that they didn't care about. And when they entered into this agreement, well, I'm not going to spoil the movie for those who you'll pick up on the signs. Um, so they sold us out, but they also sold themselves out. Okay, um, when they exchange your life and your state for technology and information to advance as a civilization, they also sold themselves out. And so a lot of these world leaders and a lot of those acting in a fiduciary capacity are really grays, maintaining their physical form and who you think is that representative of the public official. So they're not actually who you think they are. And of course, there have several people said Mitt Romney is a droid and Biden is a clone and things like that. And there's a lot of clones and droids that's running around here. Human flesh on the outside, drone or droids on the inside, entity in the mind. And all they do is transfer consciousness. This is nothing new. Again, we did that in Comet. And if you watch a movie called Selfless, they have a more sophisticated process where they show you how they transfer the consciousness. Um, but these cloned people, or I should say entities or beings, their ancestors go back to the 1500s. In the movie reference you can look at for that is witches. Okay, they were the hook nose witches. That's their ancestors. Um, and I'll post that. I'll write that down and post that in the comment section or the description. And so the watchers, they don't get involved because these entities was invited here, and that's what you'll see in Beetlejuice. And whatever you create in karma, you have to work it out in dharma. You have to change it yourself, so they don't get involved. So this is all a part of the great battle. And I see we got a couple of comments. Let me switch over. Okay. Okay. Jamonte Miller says, what is the correlation between patriarchal El prophets such as Eli, Elijah, Daniel, Ezekiel, Israel, Ishmael, DC, and the El and Bay associated with the Morsans temple? Yeah, so again, that El is ancient, and that's one of the titles that we used to call ourselves. You have El, Bay, Day, Al, Ali, Pasha, Pasha Ali, uh, and Allah. So you got many different titles that we go by. Okay, and that's just one of them. So when you read those in those texts and things like that, that's just giving you their title and attribute. Um, and so again, watch Beetlejuice and look with a new pair of lenses, and you'll start to see how things are really panning out. Okay. Um, Now, here's the thing that really you got to really look at. So, our ancient foes are up in their operations because they are running out of time. And when you climb the mountain of success or hardships and gain success, um, you don't look for hard or complex ways to reinvent how you got there. You just looked at what got you there. So these foes, these entities that we're dealing with now on Earth, they're not looking for nothing new. They're going to look to what got them to where they are, to even this planet. And what is that? That is ruling through technology. And so one of the things they're going to use is more computerization. Okay, they're going to continue to move on their operations. And one of the things they do or want to do is chip. Okay, and chipping is uh, not to track you to see okay when they're going to use the bathroom, when they're going to go get that ham sandwich. It's not that. It's more so to catalog you and see how much energy input and output they have on this planet stored. Okay, and uh, the reason for that is because, uh, and this is why you have the ability to stay calm and to be at peace because you can only control what you can control. They destroyed their own planet, and that's why they're here. So that's a good thing in a sense. So they can't go back. Now we got to deal with them here while they're here. Another thing is, um, they are cloning themselves. Now, if you know anything about cloning, you can only clone 7 times. Okay, then you lose the original. So this is why. Well, this is part of the reason why they've been upping their games. Now, again, when it comes to the chipping process, this is what they use. They use this to catalog how much of the people energy, because people give off energy. They give the planet energy. So they're trying to see how much energy input and output they have on this planet. And so, well, speaking about energy, you got scientists now calling for this summer, you're going to have a lot of power outages, shortages. You're going to have a lot of more sunspots. Now, if you go back in history or even look now, anytime you had major wars, um, you can observe, or at least on Earth, you can observe that the sun has sunspots. Okay. And what does this mean? This means that the people give off energy to control the sun. Now, the sun is changing and Earth is changing as well. So the people is also changing, and these people can't continue to hold their form. So who do you think they need to spawn a whole new hybrid race? This is what they're looking at. Now, in 1959, there was a scientist, University of Chicago, doctor, Marshall Sang, who said the electrons are bombarding us. And this is evidence that the uh, sun's polarity had reversed. Okay. And so, with it reversing, this sun affects the 12 other suns in our galaxy, and each sun has 12 planets around them. So this reversal affected not just this planet, but others as well. So our sun is being fed by a central sun, and all of the suns change their polarities. So when radiation reaches a certain level, that's when the sun changes. And we know that a lot of the um, operations that take place involve radiation on this planet. The planets around the sun, what normally happens is the planet that's around the sun, they get absorbed into the sun, and this is what creates a supernova. And this is what some of the experts are saying. Earth only have 1,100 more years until it turns into a supernova. I should say the sun rather. And so that's why these corporate owners, that own the U.S. corporation, they started to invest in um, companies and think tanks to send missiles and other technologies to Jupiter. Okay, they want to create, they want to turn Jupiter into a sun, and this is real interesting. Russia, the U.S. corporate owners, and Russia are already on most of the planets in our solar system. Um, and by the way, you're the original Russians, okay? Uh, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But in the 60s, the Russians were way more advanced than the U.S. corporate owners. And the U.S. corporate owners, they wanted to get ahead. So you know what they did? They made a deal with these entities. Okay. And so that's where you get these 13 different races here. They made treaties and pacts with these different entities to advance. But Russia and the US are on most of the planets in our solar system. And the US, they have their own aircraft that you would call a saucer or wheel or UFO. But their craft is based on electromagnetic fields of the Earth. And so these craft can't go interplanetary like the other beings craft can. They can only operate off electricity. And so um, there are crafts that operate off of different energy, pulse energy, and they're able to um, do amazing things. So the U.S., they can put a aircraft, what you call a UFO, a wheel or saucer, into the sky, but they can't arm it, and that's where their fear comes in. They don't fear. Russia can do the same as well, but they don't fear Russia. They fear other beings who have those craft with those arms, and so now you start to see that this whole Russia and Western conflict really unfolds because the U.S. corporate owners have allies, okay, which is Europe. And so now it really becomes to not just on this planet, but it's talking about other planets, okay? They've been traveling on other planets together. Now this is a battle that is not just planetary, it's interplanetary. Okay. So this is more at stake about more than just the Russians with some wheat and some food shortages or um, some war. This is way beyond that. And so it's really not about no sanctions and all that stuff. That's, I mean, it's added on, but it's bigger than that. This is control over this estate and the other estate on other planets. Now, when they went to the moon, they went to Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and their moon systems. They observed pyramids, mounds, and faces of our women and men there, the original beings. Now, some of you might say they just showed the rover going on Mars and they showed them going to the door. Well, there's no life on Mars. That's a lie. There's watermelon on Mars. There's other life that exists on Mars, but the Martians now are inside of Mars, okay, because they're getting that energy from the inside of their planet. So that's why they always show you pictures of them on the surface. The Martians are inside of Mars, just like there's beings inside of the Earth. Um, now, okay, because it's hollow. Now, the U.S. and Russia, they have stronger ties than we all know or think about. So both of them have bases on several planets throughout the solar system, and this is why they invested into um, beam weapon research. Okay, and they were working. The U.S. corporate owners was working closely with Russia, and this is where the conflict began to start to unfold a little more. Now, the ones who were trying to implement Nasara were called the enemies of the New World Order, and some of them were taken out and some of them continued on to try to bring in Nasara, the national economic security, basically changing the whole financial structure, the global structure, dealing with nationality, the land, everything like that. Didn't go through, and here's some major issues that took place. The ones who were trying to bring Nasara, they got stopped and they got major pushback from the Greys and everybody who worship the Greys, basically these politicians who were on their knees. So the Greys stepped up their actions, which caused the people who brought Nasara to bring Gusara, okay, not national, but global, okay. And the Greys, they ramped up things, and that's when they start to block all operations, and that's why we get all of these different type of clone type of beings. Now, going back to the Russians, where you're looking at that conflict, let me try to share something with you now. Hold on 1 second. Let me share some things with you now. Hold on 1 second. Let's look at some of the Russians. Hold on. Let's see if it'll pop on the screen. Let's see if we can look at some of the Russians. All right, so it's loading. All right, let's see if we can get this on the screen. All right, so this is Sheikh Anti Dia. Okay, so he had a theory, the monogenetic theory, that man was born at one place at one time. Okay, and that there's certain environmental factors that affect the phenotype, and also there's certain genes affected by the environmental factors. Now, he was the one who showed us that we uh, were the original ones on this planet way before these Albions got here. Now, someone else that you need to consider is, when it loads, David McRitchie. Okay, now these are different references you can get. Okay, because it's just showing you that we were all over the place. To call the British or English white is unpure. This is what David McRitchie said. Um, Historian, he wrote Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1 and 2, The Finns, Fairies, and Picts, The Scottish Gypsies Under the Stuarts. These are some books you can get as references, but basically, when they try to show you that the Europe was just Albion or what they call white, that's a lie. Okay, so he goes after that. And it's showing you the connection between Europe today, how Europe is battling and fighting Russia, when really we were the original Europeans and Russians. Some of those Europeans look like this when it pops on the screen. Give it a second. Some of the Europeans look just like this. Oh, they look just like you. These are some of the ills that you will see, some of the bays. These are the Moors, okay, that ruled. Okay, and you see the noble ones. All right. And here's another one. When it comes up, here's another one. Joannes Morris. He was the vizier of Sicily. Okay. 1100 AD. Okay. This is where you're looking at now, what they call all Albions. This is how they look. This is a depiction. Okay. And this war or these wars is tied to your state. They have usurped your birthright, okay, and they are starting wars and creating wars in the name of you. Now, this is okay, the original Russians. This is how they look. Okay. These are busts created by Professor M.M. Gerasimov. Okay, and this is Ukraine and Russia. This is 34,000 BC depiction. This is where he's trying to depict the Russians. Look at them. Okay, and again, here's more. Let me see here. When it pops up. Again, here we go. Ancient Russians. The Sungir man, 22,000 BCE. All right. Now, how come they don't tell you that the Russians over there look like you? And the original Russians were you. The original Europeans were you. Russian, European. Russian, European. They don't teach you that. They don't want to show you that. But this war that started a lot with you right now, but they don't tell you anything about that. Okay. So Russians, Europeans, right now they're in a great battle. The European, the West are trying to ban and sanction and gang up on the Russians. Said we're not going to do any more business. We're not going to take any more of their oil, anything. Going to ban them, everything. But again, they're not the original. They're stealing birthright everywhere, and that's what they hide. You are the original Russians. You are the original Europeans. Now, when you talk about this whole seven continents, that's really a myth too, because Europe is not a continent. All the continents are named that start with an A. Okay, that's a myth as well. Okay, and Europe. Okay, really, Europe is a peninsula of Asia. Okay, so Europe used to be called Europa, Uropa. And where do you get that name Europa from? Look at Pluto. Pluto has a moon called Europa. Okay, the Europeans, they came down as well. All right. And this all comes from these people who are Johnny come latelys in time, and they rewrote themselves back into history, and they basically made their own history when they conquer. Okay. Exactly. So exactly. Larry Green Ganimal, exactly. The Russian. Heart of a jewel. Even the Asians were the ancient blacks. Yeah, that's true. JL says we are Asiatic Moors. Okay, so they don't tell you that we are the original. Okay. And when you start talking that minority talk, us as minorities, what we're gonna do, no, that's wrong. We're the majorities all over the planet. Okay, they're the minorities, but because of the brainwashing, they get you to think that you're the 14% that's tied to the U.S. That's what they get you to think. But you're the majority everywhere. And so the great battle for this planet is coming. So just like Kal El, uh, and uh, many of the other elves who were on their planet Krypton, they were sent here because of destruction. Same thing. Okay, we're at a time where the destruction is taking place, but at the same time, the ones who are forcing this destruction are destructive, and they are destroying themselves too. They're running out of time, and guess what? They want you. Okay, you're the key for them to survive. Now, they're in the strange time because now, the age of information, that overlay, that arc, a lot of people are waking up and they can't keep doing the same thing that they've been doing. So this is where it's going to get tricky for them. Okay, a lot of you are not going for it. A lot of you already know um, subconsciously what's going on, but consciously you haven't been aware. Now that's coming to the forefront. So all of this talk about all these people going to war, there's about to be a global event. Okay, all issued by one group. Okay, Fred Williams said Lenape travels here 10,000 years before so-called William Penn discovered America. Yes, that's true. Exactly. Exactly true. Let me I'm trying to share this one right here. Let's keep for some reason. Let me refresh it. All right, so look at this one here. Let's look at this one here. All right. Can y'all see this one? Because this look frozen on my end. Let's try this. Because this one really, this is in the museum of. Now, first of all, when we're talking about these museums, a lot of the artifacts um, that you see of ours is in these Albion's museum. They have conquered us, that's true, and they take a lot of our ancient artifacts and put them in their museums. So that's nothing to be in a big uh, fight about. But a lot of these museums is also filled with fakes, okay, and a lot of fake history, a lot of fake historical nonsense, bull jive. But this one here, this clearly shows you that this is us. I mean, the nose, look at the nose, look at the lips, facial structure, cranial structure, look at the forehead. This is us. And this is not who they show you or tell you that the ancient Russians, and then look to the right, the ancient Europeans, all of them are. They don't show you that. They don't tell you that. This is clearly our people. Okay. Now, so the secret, again, is you. And the more that you don't know who you are, that's where more the displacement comes. Now, you talk about dates, you talk about times. Remember, we created time as a tool to help guide in a certain incline, to help get people on a certain path of consciousness. Now it's being used in another um, for another purpose, I should say. All right. Now it's up to us. Okay. Now I can't leave you with that. I gotta also give you this because some people always want to ask, well, what do we do from here? Okay. Now you can share information with your people to help wake them up. That's number one. And it's your duty, it's your obligation to do that. Now, another thing that you can do is remember in the physical, because some of you are so dogmatic too, where you talk about I'm so spiritual, nothing else matters. Well, I still see you in the physical. And since you're in the physical, we still gotta deal with things that's in the physical. And since we're in the physical, these are some things that we can do as far as solution. The Montevideo Convention, okay, we can build a permanent population. Okay, we already have that. Moors is everywhere. Okay, y'all are everywhere. Okay, what else? In defined territory. Throw away those addresses. Let's get to using the coordinates, the true Earth measure. Okay, a government. This is where we form. Now, you might say, well, how are we going to form a government with all this stuff taking place? Um, Guess what? All this stuff going to continue. So we got to really, uh, regardless of what they do, we always got to think about ourselves and our future. Okay, we got to build a government because obviously you see that we don't have these things. We have organizations before a government, and that's backwards. How you gonna have a program but you don't have a government for protection? Okay, and then of course we gotta have a capacity to enter relations. Okay, with other nations and states. So this is what the solutions, the first steps. This is the first phase to help us turn this thing around. And remember, we don't need every last one of us. Okay, we don't need every last one of us. We need the certain amount of number for each territory. Okay. And then from there, we'll go into the next phase. But this is some of the things that we could do right now. All right, let me try to show this one. Okay. Again, when you talk about government, going back to this, Vizier, we have already established governmental positions. We're just not uh, fully exercising them and to our full capacity. Okay, here's a Vizier right here. Example. These are some of our government titles. Everything you see that they're practicing with the Queen of England and everything, that's what we have. When you look at the Pharaoh of Kemet, or they call it Neset Biti, the Pharaoh, when you're looking at that, that is the style of government. Okay, these are some options that you have as far as style of government. Everybody can observe the rights of indigenous people. Form, we have a right to do these things. Now, don't be naive and think you're not going to get pushback because remember what's at stake. Okay, remember what's at stake. Your state, and on the other side, their existence is at stake. Okay, they have cloned themselves out. So they're going to fight. Okay, this is what you got to realize. So you got a lot of things at stake here. Okay, now let me see. Let me open it up. Um, Let me see. Um, how do you? Let me see. All right, I'm about to post. So if you guys want to come in, there's the link. All right, so there's the link. So if you guys got any questions or comments, or you just want to share information that you got too, because no one person has it all, you can do that now. I'll share it with you. Let's see. All right, let's see. Try again. See if the link is working. All right, so there's the link. If you guys got any information, and this is like a brief. I appreciate the donation. Uh, Now this is a brief introduction into all of this. We can really go beyond. Fred Williams said the first American flag has an Indian man, an Indian woman. It's called the 13 Stripes Morocco flag, 1774. First American flag. Well, go beyond that, 1770s. Because remember, if there were people here 10,000 years before the Albions got here, they had to have a flag as well. Imotanu says, we are original supermen and women. We are. Netters. Yep, exactly. Yes, we are. Oh, hold up. He said, Washington Man said, longitude and latitude geodetic survey of our empire. Exactly. Peace and love, Marvin Monroe. Good to see you. Peace and love, Wanda Dawson. You guys can join. Let me see if you have any comments to share with the people. If you have anything you want to share on the subject, you can join. If you have any more questions. So hopefully I was able to cover some of your questions while I got in the email, text, and just over time. I finally answer that. And then, of course, um, you know, recently so some things just happened, so we'll have to go live with that tomorrow to show what took place, because again, these people are not going to stop, okay, which is why we can't stop, we can't let up now. Peace and love. Let me see here. Okay. You want to come in? Trying to bring you in. It's not working. Try to come back in. Let's see. Try to come back in. Okay, what's your question, Harvard Jewel? What's your question? Oh, and the mother, she sent me a email. I can't pull it up right now 'cause I'm on my phone, but um I do want to. I got it. I'm trying to find your question real quick, because she said, what are we doing about this as Moors? Why haven't we done what we're talking about as far as dealing with these people? Uh, Now, of course, we can't also be naive and act like these people aren't listening. And so everything we're not going to say on these platforms, and of course, we do cover some of those things in class. So, oh, hold up. Emo says the sun will ruthlessly, mercilessly obliterate all this unnatural Neanderthal cave beast races it's heat. It's had to come. Yeah. Yep. So with with that being said, it's heating up, and you're right, it's destroying and tearing them up. And remember, since it's tearing them up, they need somebody, a vessel to survive. So they're gonna look towards us who can withstand the sun. Um Avogadro says, is the planet Saturn the first and old sun? Saturn is not the first planet. Um but it is one of the oldest planets, and it's attributed, well, at least in our solar system, attributed to Chronos, or time itself. That's why they call him Father Time. Saturn is like a old grandfather, and in the lore or the myth, Saturn is the grandfather who gets defeated by his son Jupiter, and this is where they play the whole Zeus, Chronos defeating Zeus story. Sandy Burrow says they taking themselves out with all this mass shootings. There's another one today in Oklahoma. Yeah, so all these mass shootings and things like that. Oh, and since you said that, you just triggered something. They're talking about, oh yeah, we'll give you gas cars if you give us the guns and stuff like that. Um, so, what type of, if you think you have government, what type of government would say something like that? Give us your guns and we'll give you some gas. You know, well, why don't you want us to defend ourselves? Do you know something that's about to happen that we should be informed of? Yeah, they do. Okay, they always want, anytime these demons ruling, they always want you to not have protection to stop them. Um, and that goes to show you that they are existing here in physical flesh. So if they got that, then that means they bleed too. Um, FIFA said, I sit in the sun every day. Yep. And remember, when you ain't sitting in the sun, it don't absorb so much of the rays around 12 when it's at its peak. Absorb it when um, the sun is declining. The Schumann resonance was off the charts today. Yep. Fred Williams, Stone Cold 69. What is supposed to be an eclipse tonight? No, no eclipse tonight. The moon, it's not eclipse tonight. Mm-mm. Yep, Harvard Jewel, Saturn equals Chronos. Pin, are there any beings here to assist us with the beings that as against? That's a good question. Yes. There are several beings that's here, and um, basically some of them have got involved, um, and uh, some of the ones that we would consider our that looks like us, um, they call Assyrians. They pretty much they look like you, and they said that they wouldn't get involved. But there are other ones that have gotten involved um, to balance the playing field. But that's why they have been, for example, a lot of the nuclear weapons have been dismantled by some of these beings. So they say, okay, the U.S. say, hey, they call Russia, did y'all disarm our stuff? No. Did you disarm ours? No. And they call China, hey, did you do that? No, we didn't do that. Did y'all do that to us? No. So they're starting to see, okay, the Tyrantors and other beings, they destroyed their planet from atomic energy. Like basically, atomic bomb. They blew up their stuff and came down here. And so the U.S. corporate owners are trying to do the same. They want atomic energy. Now you see everybody doing ballistic missile testing and all these different things. And so uh, they're basically on the verge of doing that again. So some of the beings are stepping in saying, nope, can't do that. And so um, that's where, the ones who have said that they were not going to get involved, uh, some of them have, and then the other ones they haven't. And the reason why they haven't is because again, once you intercede and step in to change or alter somebody else's karma, you got to deal with them. You got to stay with them until it uh, all plays out, and that's what they're doing. So the military says we carbonated people are forever originals, and nothing will or can be before or came before or against us. We are eternals. Yeah, that's right. You have the dominant gene. And let me just say this too. Let's not get hypocritical and think because we are original or because we are um, the chosen that that makes us superior. There's certain things in us that range true, but um, we defeat it right now as far as a collective. I'm saying that's why we face these conditions that we face because that's the evidence we're defeated. But we got to change that tide, um, and that begins with the brother, like what he's saying, knowing who you are. He's raising when Brother Limo says we carbonated people are forever originals and nothing will or came before us or against us. We are eternals. He's elevating everybody's vibrations. So that's the start of it. So then we got to go beyond that. Devontae Miller says, in the context of the patriarchal prophets of Eli, Elijah, and Israel, do these attributes at the end of our link us to our state? Yes. Il, Bay, Day, Al, Ali, Pasha, Allah, all these link you to your state. Il. You're linked by bloodline. You are linked by bloodline. It's your birthright. Cornville says, is it true we like Superman and Superwoman? They put poison in our water and food, like it's like kryptonite. Yes, there's toxins and things like that that act as kryptonite. So the viruses that's created, or I should say the dis-ease that's created, is created counterclockwise to destroy you. So that's the kryptonite, the counterclockwise. So the counterclockwise is the kryptonite, um, on the mental plane, on the causal plane, and then once it manifests in the physical plane, it manifests as dis-ease or virus. But the kryptonite itself is the clockwise path, I should say. Angels have the name Il in them, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael. Exactly. Ils. We're all Ils. Il is father. Yep. PM. Trudeau is pusher to ban weapons in Canada. Exactly. Cause that's what they love doing. Um, anytime, and I hate to say this this way, the Democrats get in office, because really it's one office. They all are on the same team. But anytime they're in, they always want to take guns. They always stage events so that they can confiscate guns. They always target that. Um, and this is a new one. I mean, we'll give you gas for gun. It's funny. Um, Elohim. Larry Green says October equals 8, means June is the fourth month. Yep, exactly. Yep. Um, and so that's interesting. Now that all these wars are brewing, now they ramping up. Okay, we need to take guns. This will be sizzling roast in summer for this unnatural Neanderthal KUB's racing. They are in for roasting season, is it? Yeah, it's hot already. So I like to see. You better stay hydrated. So you notice, uh, again, the so-called Roe versus Wade. That's not about them. I mean you. It's about them. Okay, it all has to do with them. So, do you have any advice on how we could advance our mental and physical state at this time? Besides getting more sun, everything is compromised. Yeah, get intelligence, get more knowledge, get more wisdom, and apply it. So, the more conscious you are, the more codes you have, but that means also that the more responsible you're going to be for the more information you entrusted with. So get more information. And again, you can start with the Kabbalion to break the dogma if you are dealing with dogma, to show you, how the universal laws come into play, and then also go into your deeper studies and things like that. But that's a place to start. UVC index is at 32. Game over. The frequency is rising. No. Yes, because remember, certain of our people are waking up, and it's not they waking up remembering a lot, and that's always going to help. And then you also have even the sleep ones. They're doing stuff unconsciously, but subconsciously they having these synchronicities to why they're doing what they're doing. So it's really unraveling, and a lot of the people who are still caught up in the Piscean age is being shifted towards this age. So whenever we're going through this shift, you're going to see this sifting out. Basically, it has to be worked out before we get completely to the next side. I embrace the age of Aquarius, and then we'll get into the next arc or overlay of light, which will be going to the age of Capricorn. So once you go online, you will see another reality. The truths are worse than a lie. Yeah, yeah, that's right. And a lot of the truths that our people, well, I should say, a lot of the things our people think are true today is amazing. Amazing. That's how it is. My brother, he's saying it's amazing because these people, I mean, they tell us anything and we just eat it up. And yeah, it's sad. How to get started with class? Dynamic content program. That's yeah. So okay. So how we get started? So this how we're gonna get started right here. Let me put it on the screen. This how we're gonna get started right here. All right, building that permanent population, getting a defined territory, forming a government, and then we'll do the capacity to enter into relationships once we get our stuff together. But again, these are some of the things classes. Um, but this is where we're going to start, so everybody can be on the same page. All right. Um, Harvard Drew says so. It's going backwards. Age of Aquarius to Age of Capricorn. Yeah. So we just left um, Age of Pisces, and we in the Age of Aquarius, and we'll go from Aquarius into the Age of Capricorn. Now, when we look at these ages, we haven't really completed a full year yet. I know that's to some going to be hard to believe, but when you go through an age, okay, you could complete that cycle. That creates, well, that is the great year, okay, that our ancestors used the sidereal time to calculate. So really, you're younger than what you are. Really, you are. So you must say, "Oh, I'm 55 years old. I'm 40 years old. I'm 20 years old." No, you're not. How many moons have you had? Okay, um, around. Okay, this planet. That's how we calculate it based off the sidereal. So really, um, you know how we go from January until December, and we say that's 1 year. That's not really a year. Okay, that's just a period of time that we mark off so that we don't lose track of where we are to reach the great year. Okay, um, so and we'll get more into that another time. So we're going to take on more of what's in this age, and we're uh, headed towards more information, more technology, more knowledge and wisdom. And there's also a caveat to that too, because just because we get more information doesn't mean that it's not going to be more mis or disinformation too. And obviously, we know that there's thousands of think tanks that's formed to um, misinform everybody. And guess what? Uh, if you're the minority, if you're the true minority, you will have to keep the people uh, confused and unaware and lied to, because that's how you keep your power and control. If you were the true majority, you wouldn't need to. You could just wipe them out because you have more numbers. But hey, that's not how it works. Javante Miller is the monetary system of Moorish antiquity can be used. Oh, is there a monetary system of Moorish antiquity that can be used as a template to replace the fall of this matrix? Example, Muhammad 3-year economic plan. Yes. Going back to the estate as an heir, um, because remember, you go back to claim your inheritance, you go into restoration. So it's restoring your estate. So once you restore your estate, that's when you get into those plans, I should say financial plans, backed by gold and silver. Larry Green says, brainwash education to make us fools. Yep. As above, so below. JL says, as above, so below, so many subjects in mystery. Yep. So vast. Art of a Jew says, Aquarius definitely caused a lot of unexpected and strange things happening in our lives because of Uranus. Yep. Yeah, a lot of events shaking up. Yeah, so people say it's definitely going this way. Well, that's where Uranus comes to disrupt. And uncertainty. That's right, JL. Astrology is important, and I talked to some people who say, astrology is evil, is of the devil, and everything. And my book told me that you going to hell for practicing that and everything. But if your creator created the stars, and astrology is the study of the movement of the stars, how is that evil? So the dogma is real in Pisces. So Limo Turner says this orcs have been telling us to provide identity cards, but the sun will ask them if they have neuromountain, which is prokaryotic cells technology. Yep. Yeah, that's true. You asking us for identity when the planet, the environment asking you to identify yourself. And if not, that's why you're getting killed, because you're unnatural, like a pathogen. Pathogens seek to destroy, and guess what? That's there. The sun seeks to destroy the destroyer. You're absolutely correct. He says, all right, does anybody have any more questions? Any more questions? However, just I remember when I was, well, I used to be closed-minded when I was in my spiritual slumber stages, but I think the Most High for pulling me out and I came to my awakening. That's good. That's good, Heart of a Jewel. Keep on going, because it's a lot of information to learn and share with other people. Um, that's one of the things that we got to get in the habit with. Even when people don't want to hear it, we still got to share it. Because if not, it's going to be like in that movie They Live. You against all of them, you need people to see what you see as well. Most. Peace and love, more. How's everything? Hold on, let me drop the link. Let me drop the link, more. Sandy Burr said it's like spontaneous combustion for them. Yeah, them sunspots. It's also, yeah, sunspots on Earth, but sunspots on their skin too. The sun is exploding in their skin. Yeah. So, and we're not talking about hate. You're not talking about, uh, none of that. We're talking about the facts, what take place. So, um, this is why those explosions take place in the skin, the epidermis of the skin, because it's a reflection of what's going on in the cosmos. So, had nothing to do with us hating. It's just telling what's going on. Let's see. All right, here we go.
Peace in Islam, more.
Peace, more. How's everything?
Oh, man, I'm doing wonderful, man. Everything is everything, man. I'm doing great. Good to hear from you, brother. Good to see you.
Good to hear. Good to hear from you too, more. Let me see. All right, we got the comments right there. All right, there we go. Good. Oh, there we go. So, how's everything, more?
Oh, man, everything is pretty good, though, man. I see you've been on here for quite some time. I wish I would have caught you a lot more sooner, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
more. Yeah, we was chopping it up now. I try to share some information about some of the things that we talk about, our ancient heritage and stuff like that. But yeah, man. Let me see here. Hold up, let me see. Oh, there you go. The comment. Sandy Burrow says the monkeypox. That's the monkeypox that they're talking about. Yep, the monkeypox. And somebody mentioned something about them having a van with all of them monkeys that got away last year, early in the year, and then now all of a sudden the monkeypox is out. And by the way, speak about monkeys. Um, I hate to do this. Well, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't. We'll save that. But since we talking about uh, the monkeys and Bill Gates moving on, doing different things with the monkeys to bring to different countries. Also look at what's taking place with um, DuckDuckGo. Okay, so he's trying to buy out DuckDuckGo now. So it was nice while it lasted for those who was trying to maintain privacy and not get tracked, but had to look for another platform. Okay, so that's something that we're gonna have to look out for. Hold on, let me add you back. Okay, there you go. Can you hear me more?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, yep. Did you hear about that? Did you hear about Bill Gates? He's trying to buy DuckDuckGo now.
It's like
Oh, hold up. You there? You still there?
really?
Yeah, he's trying to buy DuckDuckGo, so now you're not gonna be able to use that. Not gonna be able to use. You're gonna have to find
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else
I'm still
now.
here, more. It's like it's echoing. It keeps on.
Oh,
It's like it'll speed up and then it like to slow down. It's like I can hear you, then it keeps echoing.
oh, dang, dang. He said, "Do it." Yeah, yeah. Let me say. Um, hold on. They say, if the Diesel says, "What was the real name of our nation of Americas before it was called USA?" Yeah. So we had many nations or tribes here. Um, before what they call United States Service Corporation. Um, and many of these tribes, again, like the brother mentioned, was here. Some of the Lenape, that's one. And you can look at the United States Code Title 49. No, it's Title, is it 29? The Lenape Moors, the Lenape, they were here. We're the ancestors. Um, that's United States Code. You can look it up. Just type it in Google. United States Code, Title 29, Lenape. Okay. And then, of course, we had many flags. Okay. Um, one of the flags you see here, this is one. Okay. Let me see. Can you see? This is one of them. This is the alleged cherry tree that George Washington chopped down. Okay. And meaning symbolic of him cutting us off from being a nation. Oh, Penn said, how could the American social credit system affect us? How to get around it? Nationalized. Yes, a lot of people want nationalized for the wrong reason. But- well, it's your birthright, so I get it. But you worried about taxes and social security and things where it's a part, but we need to form that government for protection. Okay, that's where we really need to be. Yeah, more on the Bill Gates, he's still on the move, man. So that's something that we're gonna have to, like I said earlier, choose a different platform.
Mm, 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 mm.
Gotta get another platform.
Wow.
Yep.
He trying to buy Go now.
He trying to buy DuckDuckGo, so uh and this goes
So
to
that is no
them.
longer even safe.
Exactly. Yep. That's no longer safer. So we're gonna have to look for another platform because the chips, um, as far as them, now he didn't go well with dimming the sun plan, or blocking the sun. So now he's going after the Earth and then going after tracking, and that's tracking so they can catalog. So he just and really they're saying that he's not even. They're saying that he's a um, droid. That's what it is. Something I'm saying. Limo Tanner said, "We carbonated people are not supposed to celebrate birthdays because we are ageless. The more we continue to celebrate, the more we will be stuck in the matrix." It's a good perspective. Yeah. Yep. If you're the oldest, so you don't have no concept of time. Oh yeah. He said. Yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna save that. I ain't gonna say that. Said that. Say that. Harvard Jew says, I remember I seen an old video of someone throwing a cream pie rainbow in his face. Uh says they messing with your stream. Yeah, I figured they yeah, I figured, but pretty soon we'll have our own so we don't have to worry about this because certain things that we can't we well I didn't say we can't, but when we discuss that's when they um start with doing whatever, but whatever. We'll figure it out as part of it. Yeah, okay. Let me see. Noble, you still there? They saying they're messing with the
Yes,
stream
sir.
now.
I'm still here.
Okay, good. There we go. Yeah, more. So what you been hearing, man?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm
I've
still
been
here,
hearing.
man. It's like the stuff that I've been hearing as of lately, man. It's just been quite a few. I'll probably say quite a few things that I have been seeing. Like the weather patterns have been picking up crazy lately.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing like a lot of tornadoes happening in the Midwest. What else? I've been seeing it's been a couple of places where that has been hit like real bad, like in the Midwest, places like
Mm-hmm.
Kansas once again. What else?
Mm-hmm.
We also been talking about like more volcano explosions that's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
What else? They've been talking about. I also been witnessing. They've been talking about something dealing with like Biden and stuff like that as well. I've been hearing about its approval rate, man. They said it's even lower right about now. So they said
Yeah.
it's really, really bad right now.
Yep.
And for what it seems like to me, it seems like the people they really trying to bring back, the Orange Man.
Yep. That's right. And the volcanoes that they're saying, oh, they're inactive. All of them are active. They're not active. They all are active, and so um, they just need enough friction to explode. But yeah, it's been a lot of weather um, patterns, and a part of the one of the biggest mistakes that they made is drilling too far in the earth, and so that's part of why they use chemtrails. But They also been using these fake. I don't know if y'all been seeing them. The fake um, cloud um, machines that they've been pumping fake clouds into the air, um, and then also uh, the chemtrails and weather manipulation. So it's really um, a lot of stuff you see man-made, but then also a lot of weather patterns you see is a reflection of what's going on in the universe. Hold on, let me see. Jamaica says price, inflation, food shortages, food famine, food war coming to supermarket near you, April 8th, 2024. Oh yeah, they're calling even before that. Yep, they calling they calling before that. Um and they calling through 2028. So that's something that you gotta be aware of. You tell people all day, but yeah. The Great American Totalitarian Eclipse. Yeah, a lot of changes. A lot of changes taking place. Let me see. Yeah, and they also as far as this for the weather, they've been trying to more they've been saying, oh, climate change is the reason why we have to use other methods to stop these uh, earth from declining, and things like children riding a school bus is emitting so much toxic waste into the atmosphere. We gotta implement Agenda 21. And it's like our people on autopilot they don't even hear this stuff, but these politicians be saying out their mouth. And this is where they at right now. As far as 2021 agenda, um, they running out of time. So, you know, they don't have nothing really left to do but to chip and conquer like that. So, this planetary invasion is brewing. Said the ice caps is melting. Oh yeah, they always been melting. The sun has always been hot. So they've been feeding us lies with that too. Um, yep, they always been. S- Sandy Barrow said the Midwest getting storms every week. Wow, yeah, see. Um, and everybody talk about moving to the West. You gonna get protection in the middle of the land? I don't know.
What?
Yeah, shoot, they
Hmm.
going to. Uh huh. Say it again.
They getting a storm every week, man. That's insane.
Yep. Uh, Javante Miller says, "What do you think we can start doing to prepare for this fall of this matrix? Is there a particular form of self-defense you would recommend?" Um, all forms of self-defense. I mean, they use everything against us, um, or against everyone, really. Yeah, they use knowledge against people, time. You learn how to control time, learn how to, um, you know, use the forces of this universe. Um, Information, knowledge, wisdom, everything is used as a weapon. Food is used as a weapon. Um, Space is used as a weapon. distance is used as everything is used as a weapon. So um, when you learn and master these subjects and skills, you can use them. You think it's hold on. You think it's something up with the baby food shortages? I feel like they are turning out babies in kind of ways. Yeah, there's a lot of things that's going on with these food product or some food shortages for the babies because it is unclean, unsafe uh, things that's taking place with them. And that's the universe like a wake up call. Wake up! You know why you keep allowing your children to take this stuff if you say you love them and they are the future and you care. Well, uh, part of them shortages is because they getting sued and shut down too. So they ain't all just what you think as far as them running out. It's some of them getting sued and shut down. However, Juice, I'm definitely getting. I know that's right. Get everything you can. Um, Gordon Bill said tomorrow gonna be a thunderstorm. Wow. It says, Lemon says, I just want to share that I had a dream about Anunnaki arriving this year. Just be prepared because they will stage fake alien invasion, but have no fear. Stay strong and brave, my people. Exactly. Yep. That's their plan, the ultimate plan. Stage that event. How do you think that we can mobilize, organize, and stabilize during the fall of this major caste system? Well, going back to the solutions. Um, Organizing under the Montevideo Convention. That's a way that we can do it because we're restoring our state. So we don't have to start all the way over from scratch. This is something that we once had and just fell. So that's what we're doing. Down south, getting storms every week as well as here in the Gulf. Yeah. You know, no matter what the wicked do, our people will always keep reincarnating. Yep, that's right. Exactly. J- JL says, got to learn how to survive off the land. Exactly. We got so used to the plastic that we can't. We gotta get back to that. Okay. All right. Let me see if he can get back on. We've been on almost 2 hours. Okay. Okay. No, but you said keep echoing. All right. Yeah, it keep echoing. Yeah. So we've been on almost 2 hours now. So we're gonna go ahead and call it. So again, I hope this was able to give you all some insight about what's going on this planet and how it involves you and who you are, and the elves in general about how we brought this ancient science and how we are some of the most ancient, who have some of the most ancient ties to this planet, and how the ones in power now are, or I should say, the ones that are causing a lot of things that take place on this planet now are ancient. They're ancient fall from a planet that's in the Orion, outside of the Orion constellation. So um, I'll leave the movies in the description. You can check them out. Look with a different lens. I'll leave other information if need be. And again, we're gonna keep building on this and the other topics as well. And you all keep doing your research and stay encouraged. Remember, um, whatever happens, you only can control what you can control. And now, until you learn how to control the forces of nature, that's a whole nother thing. But um, this is what we're going to be continuing doing with the solutions. If you want to build, that's something that we're going to be doing. And we got a lot of offers, so I'm excited about that, what we're building. And pretty soon we're going to present it to you all. And hopefully you'll enjoy it. And you'll take a lot of information from it because we're going to be giving out a lot of information, a lot of practical, common sense, and useful information to help you for remedy. So um, I'm excited about that. All right. And so you all enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you all tomorrow. We're going to go live again. All right. Peace and much love. That's right. Have no fear. Thank you so much for sharing the truth. No problem. Thanks for sharing over. Yep, no problem. All right, you all enjoy the rest of your night. May your soul find satisfaction. Hotep, peace and much love. All right, I will see you all tomorrow. Stay up, okay? And remember, change your vibration and you change the frequency. Okay, that's all it's about. You gotta start with changing your vibration. All right, so peace and much love. See you all next time.